Hey everybody, this is Kevin over at BibleWellness.com. Today we're going to do the part 3 session of The Ultimate Guide to Bible Wellness. The Ultimate Guide to Bible Wellness, a BibleWellness.com production, and this is part 3. Today we're just going to talk about 7 keys for good health and wellness. 7 keys for good health and wellness. So these are 7 foundational principles that, when followed, they will help us reach and obtain good health, optimal health. Principles for SURTHRIVAL. And not only do we want health and wellness that allows us to survive, we also want it uh, to allow us to thrive in life. And that means have abundant life, have more than what we need so that we can give to others. So these are 7 foundational principles, keys that when followed, they will produce optimal health. Number one, we want to eat to live, not live to eat. Back in the day, I used to love to live to eat, but now I choose my foods by um, I examine and I choose my foods by how much nutrients they contain and what it can do for me, as opposed to just thinking about how good it's going to taste or how good it looks. So we want to eat to live. We want to use whole food nutritional supplements. We want to use foods that come from real food and not uh, supplements that are synthetically made in labs. Um, we want to practice proactive care versus reactive care. And what that means is we want to start incorporating practices in our lives that will help us be proactive about our health and wellness, as opposed to waiting till we get to a health crisis and then be reacting to whatever we come down with, or uh, the symptoms we may spawn as a result of living a lifestyle that's reckless and not uh, keeping within good health practices. Number 4, we want to condition our bodies with exercise. Number 5, we want to reduce toxins in our environment as much as possible. Number 6, we want to avoid deadly emotions like anger and frustration and unforgiveness. We don't want to hold on to these negative emotions. Number 7, we want to live a life of prayer and purpose. Okay, let's look at this just a little bit closer. We still have a broad brush that we're painting with. We're not getting into any fine details yet, but we're just kind of laying a foundation and setting the stage. We want to Number 1, we want to eat to live, which means pretty much we want to eat as close to the natural source, or in other words, we want to eat as much real food as possible. And pretty much to keep it simple. Uh, I always give the example: is it better to eat the apple, or the applesauce, or is it better to eat the orange versus drinking orange juice? And the answer is we want to eat foods that hasn't been processed. We want to eat those foods as much as possible. When you take a raw food, and you process it, you're always going to lose um, some things in the process that is beneficial to your health. So we want to incorporate raw foods as much as possible in your diet, and also you want to eat as close to the natural source of the food as you can get these days. For another example is with meat. If you're a meat eater, you want to eat meat that's been produced the way Mother Nature intended for it to produce. You want to, like with cows specifically, you want to eat grass-fed or grain-fed cows versus grain-fed cows. When you look at Mother Nature, cows eat grass, they eat legumes, they eat herbs. They don't eat grains. Is not their first choice of food. So we want to try to get back to as close to the way the Father intended for us to eat. Um, we want to eat foods in the form God created. which means we want to stay away from, again, we want to stay away from processed foods and laboratory foods that's been produced to um, appeal to all of our especially our sweet senses and our sweet and salty taste buds. Um, uh, so we want to eat foods in the form God created. We want to get plenty of water, good living water in our diet. And then also we want to practice intermittent fasting from time to time. Uh, Believe it or not, intermittent fasting is very healthy and very good for a diet plan. Supplement. Supplement is just another way of saying food insurance. Insurance. Our diet today is lacking in a lot of nutrients. We're just not getting the same amount of nutrients that we once did back in the day. So we want to, there's some studies saying that supplements aren't helpful, then there's others saying that it is. But I like to err on the side of caution and safety and say that supplements can be very beneficial to helping you maintain a good a good health, good quality of life. So we want to use whole food supplements with no fillers or additives. Um, and specifically when you get something, you want to try and see if it has raw on the label from raw foods or from foods. You don't want to get um, the laboratory synthetically produced supplements. Let's see. The foundational four. In my research, I've come across various ways of supplement, but to keep it basic and keep it simple for somebody who's just kind of bare bones and just looking for a place to start, I found a foundational four that really helps in the process of turning things around and getting started. That's a good multivitamin, uh, green superfoods powder, and probiotics and digestive enzymes. Or if you can like probably knock out the digestive enzymes and replace that with vitamin D. Um, just in the research that I found. But we want to make sure we supplement. Proactive care. We want to be proactive about our care versus reactive. And one of the simplest things that you can do that a lot of people I'm noticing really don't quite do, or maybe it's just me, is wash your hands on a regular basis. I can't tell you how many times I've been out in public and been to the restroom and the guy just walked out after doing his business and just walks out. I ain't never seen such a thing. So many grown people walking around, with just just craziness. How you gonna be, taking care of business, both one and two, and then you just gonna get up and walk out, right past me, walk out past the soap, walk out past the water, and go on back, go on about your business. That's just crazy nonsense right there. And then some other things you want to do is cleanse your nasal passages and keep your eyes clean if you can. Um, Cleanse your ear canals at least twice a week, and you can use essential oils for tooth tooth solutions, and as opposed to like using like regular toothpaste, you can use like essential oils and some other things to be help us be proactive about our care is uh, incorporating good, clean, wholesome music. Believe it or not, that's a good proactive practice. And then also chiropractic. Go to a chiropractor on a regular basis to help with your spine and getting that situated and straightened out. And I mean, I can guarantee you'll notice a real big difference after incorporating that into your lifestyle. Um, and some other things like going to a massage therapist on a frequent basis, if you can. That's great. Let's see. That's all I can think of right now off the top of my head. But we want to start being proactive about our care, asking questions when you go to the doctor. Don't just go in there and just take what's prescribed to you, and you want to be a part of the process. You just don't want to be a victim of the process, but you want to be incorporated into the process, and you want to learn. You want to find a doctor with the heart of a teacher who teaches you and tells you what's going on with your body, and this is what's happening. Ask questions. If you got a doctor that gets offended at your questions and inquiries, then you might want to get another physician. Condition your body with exercise and body therapies. Um, we want to exercise at least 3 times a week if you can, at least 3 times a week. And it doesn't have to be as strenuous, or it doesn't have to be as long as we're led to believe. You can get great results exercising up 16 to 20 minutes a day, or 16 to 20 minutes 3 times a week. I've led boot camps where our sessions were no longer than 20 minutes, and we did all body weight exercise, and a lot of people experienced a lot of changes with regard to weight, energy levels, flexibility, and just overall well-being, just from 20 minutes 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be, the crazy hours, like, 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, uh, 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week, if you don't want it to. Um, so, so that's one thing that helped me start to exercise a little more, was when I found out and I learned that you can actually experience great and tremendous results by just doing a little bit. You want to try, let's see, you want to try to get, plenty of sleep at night, and observe the Sabbath. I believe in the seventh day Sabbath, but if you believe any other Sabbath, that's fine. That's your thing. But just make sure you get a day of rest in there. Um, God, God gave us a day of rest, and we should definitely take it. I know that goes against the grain of what society tells you to do these days. They'll tell you got to be 7 days a week, 24/7, just to get by. But it's actually better, and it works out well for you. And it's essential to good health to take that rest and actually rest. Um, get as much sun as possible. I know this also goes against conventional wisdom these days, but you want to get some sun, get some rays, get that vitamin D going. And then also you want to incorporate essential oils into your daily life too. There's a lot of therapeutic and healing properties in essential oils the knowledge is it's known, but it's not well known as it used to be. Reduce toxins in your environment. We want to consume organically produced food as much as possible. And this is very important given issues like genetically modified foods and the amount of preservatives and hormones and additives and fillers and just the whole array of just toxicity that's being placed into our food supply and in our environment. So you're not going to be able to reduce it all the way, but you want to knock it down as much as possible, and it's very important. And a easy step is just is switching over to consuming organically whenever possible. If you're a meat eater, you want to start with meat and dairy because that's the most toxic. It can be, and then you want to work your way down, like with the fruits and the vegetables, on down to the nuts and seeds and stuff like that. But there's ways to be strategic about it and still come out ahead. Some other areas to help reduce toxicity is to improve indoor air quality. You want to, which means you can look into all kinds of products and stuff to help you do that. But really, just open up your windows and let air out. Mama used to get up on her cleaning days sometimes and just open up that window, open up the doors, let some fresh air in, get some air circulating. Then also we want to drink purified water, and you want to shower in purified water if you can. But it's very essential that you get as clean water as you possibly can. You know, most like 70% of our bodies is made up of water or something of that nature. So you want to make sure that you get plenty of good water in your diet, and you want to use natural products for skin care, body care, hair care, cosmetics, and toothpaste. And that's very important because um, a lot of products today are petroleum based, and a lot of it has the opposite effect as intended. Like petroleum dries out your skin, alcohol dries out your skin and hair as opposed to moisturizing it. And then when you look at a lot of lotions and stuff like that, a lot of chemicals and properties in them just ain't good, and they have been found related to cancers and other issues as well. So you want to go to as natural as possible. For me, for example, I use coconut oil. Coconut oil is it's an all-star, man. You can use it just for anything. You can supplement with it. You can use it for your hair, use it for your skin. You can make toothpaste with it. You can do oil pulling with it as far as mouth care, which is a proactive practice. It's got antibacterial properties, antiviral. It's amazing. So you want to try to switch over to natural products as much as possible. Then also, let's see, don't heat food in plastic. If you know anything about plastic, it's a lot of information is coming out about plastic and how dangerous it is, and the level of toxicity that the effects that it's having on the body. For example, BPA's effect has a very detrimental effect to health, uh, and which is why you're starting to see a lot of stuff labeled BPA free. It acts as an estrogen mimicker, and it just does damage. That's amazing to the body. Infertility, the reduction of testosterone, uh, it increases femininity in males. It over uh, produces it. You know, it throws off the hormonal level in females, making their bodies more cancerous. Um, so you don't want to use plastic if you don't have to. You want to like use glass or ceramic if you can, stainless steel. You want to avoid the plastics. Avoid daily emotions. Um, you want to try your best to avoid stress, anxiety, and anger, unforgiveness, depression, bitterness. These are things that affect not only the mind but the spirit. It puts you it puts you in a state of worry and fear, which separates you from God, and it puts you in a mental state that's just down, and which also can affect the body too, with cramps and other issues that it just affects your overall health. We weren't meant to hold these things for long. We're meant to experience them, but we're not meant to hold on to them because they definitely can affect your health in a negative manner, shorten your lifespan. Uh, so for real, to keep it simple, don't sweat the small stuff. Understand that in due time, this too shall pass, and it just kind of ask yourself the question: is this going to matter in 5 years, or is this going to matter tomorrow? Um, and the stuff that you say yes to, then you figure out, you figure out how you're going to deal with it. But just don't let it take you out. Don't hold on to it. You want to don't eat when you're sad. Don't eat when you're scared. Don't eat when you're ticked off. Um, I used to do this a lot, which affected me. When I stopped doing it, I lost pounds just kind of noticing when I was eating those, when I was binging, and just by stop, noticing that and doing some things, instituted some things in my life to help me stop doing that. I started losing weight easily without even really trying. Um, Quite simply, you want to trust God. You want to practice forgiveness every day and forgive those who hurt you. I know this is probably easier said than done, which is why you need the Holy Spirit in your life to help you do some of these things. And salvation is a process. Uh, Initially, in the acceptance of Jesus Christ, you are saved, and you're sealed for Christ when He comes. But then also you have to live it out too. So practice of forgiveness is an art, and it takes time for some of us. Some of us longer than others, but it's a skill that we all must get before we leave this plane of existence. You want to look for ways to laugh every day. I know this is, for some people, this is easier than others because some of us are just like Droopy, and then some of us are just naturally we get high off the air. So, but you want to make sure you look for ways to laugh every day. Laugh, a merry heart does good like medicine, but a broken spirit dries the bones. Proverbs 17:22. Just understand that, you don't have to take life so serious all the time. There's a time for everything. So you want to avoid deadly emotions and laugh. And quite lastly, probably the most important out of all of them, is to live a life of prayer and purpose with connection to the Father. So you want to make sure that you have a relationship with the Creator of the universe, and learn about this Creator and the basic instructions before leaving Earth, otherwise known as the Bible. And you want to develop a relationship with Him. Pray continually, confess God's promises the first thing upon waking and the last thing before you retire. And you want to find God's purpose for your life and live it. Um, Trust me, if when you start incorporating these things in your life and you really seek and you ask, He will tell you. He'll tell you what your individual purpose is, and the role that you play in this theater, this movie known as life. So if you got no purpose, you got no hope. If you got no hope, you're a dead man or woman walking. And it's a sad state of existence, and we don't. And I just want to make sure that you know the good news that you don't have to stay there if you don't want to. These are things that helped me kind of turn things around in my life, and hopefully some of the things we're talking about right now will help you as well. That's why I do this, because I know where I was, and I know, I still got my faults, and I still got a ways to go on some things, but when we're talking about health, and we're talking about body, soul, and spirit, holistic health, which will help you be well for kingdom work. So these are the 7 principles. So I'm just going to go back and do a quick run through. We want to eat to live. We want to supplement with whole food nutritional supplements. We want to practice proactive care. We want to condition our body with exercises and body therapies. We want to reduce toxins in our environment as much as possible. We want to avoid deadly emotions. And most importantly, we want to live a life of prayer and purpose with connection to our Heavenly Father. This probably should have been the first one. Okay, that concludes part 3 of the session, talking about health and wellness from the ultimate guide to health and wellness from a biblical perspective. This is Kevin, creator of BibleWellness.com. Just come on over to Bible Wellness, check out this presentation, this lesson, and hopefully you can gain some nuggets to help you along the way in good health. I got one more session, session 4. We're going to talk about how to incorporate all these things into some kind of plan that we can formulate, to help us apply it to our living. So with that, I'm going to sign off, and I look forward to seeing you guys in a little bit.